Here's to another random fact about me until my album releases. Okay, this you might have heard me share before, but I have added information. You might have heard me share before is that growing up, if you grew up in a Hispanic household, our parents repeatedly say, you'll understand when you have your kids. Who can raise your hand and say that that is what they heard? I heard that a lot growing up. At a very young age, hearing this really made me reflect. As a parent, I want to be able to understand my kid. I was a child myself. I think I started feeling this around 8 or 9 years old. There's certain times where I wish I would have been heard and understood. So as I got older, it was probably 3rd, 4th grade is when I actually started to write a journal of things that happened during my life, either with my parents or just in life in general, that I would then begin to journal certain situations in life and how they made me feel. So when I had a kid that was my age, that I would understand their perspective. I just wanted to understand them at that age. I started with a journal and then I started to write them in floppy disks, if anybody remembers what those look like. From floppy disks, they started to go into emails. At a certain age, I just stopped writing and I threw everything away. But a lot of that stuff I have stored in my mind. Now, I will give you some context to that, because even though I do believe it has helped me so much, this is some added perspective. The way that I perceived life growing up is not the same way that my kids are perceiving life. They don't have the same feelings about certain things that I did. They don't have the same perspective. They don't feel the same way about certain things. What I've learned as a mother is that every kid learns differently. They receive information differently and they learn differently and they have different experiences. I already knew that, but to kind of live that separate experience with every child, and even though there's some things that frustrate me, it seems like they should understand. I pray through that a lot. And it's not that they know less or that they're not smart. It's just their life perspective is different. Their experiences are different. This is something that I have to give up to God for Him to show me how I can be a better mom and a better person for what my kids are needing, specifically for each one of them. That is something that I am taking away and I'm still learning to do every single day. That's a random fact about me, but just with added perspective, because we learn every day. That's one thing I always ask God, that I remain open to learning and to understanding. And I'm not going to get it 100%. I've realized that my parents never got it 100%. I've also just realized that I'm not going to always be perfect. But as long as I'm teachable, I can only do the best that I can and let God do the rest. I don't know if this serves as a random fact or not. I don't know. Maybe it helps somebody see a different side of things. I don't know. Prayer, y'all. Prayer. It is needed as a parent in the generation that we're living in right now. Prayer is so important. It is needed daily. So yeah.